The restaurant had just opened its doors when a loud crash echoed across the dining hall. Plates scattered. A tray rolled across the floor. And a young waitress, barely in her early 20s, fell to her knees, shaking. Before she could even pick herself up, a man in an expensive suit stood towering over her. "What is wrong with you?" he barked. "Are you blind?" The girl clutched her arm. Her eyes were red, tired, and full of fear. "Please, don't kick me," she whispered. "I'm already hurt." The entire restaurant froze. At a corner table, a silent customer watched everything. He looked ordinary, simple shirt, worn-out cap, but his eyes were sharp. No one knew that the man quietly sipping his black coffee was actually the undercover CEO of the entire restaurant chain. And after witnessing this moment, he knew. Today, the truth would come out. Her name was Alisha. A hard-working girl who took double shifts just to pay her mother's medical bills. Everyone in the staff knew she was struggling, except the manager, Mr. Karim, who never bothered to care. Alisha never complained. She worked with a smile, even on the days she had nothing to eat until night. But today, her smile cracked. The undercover CEO, sitting quietly in the corner, noticed how her hands trembled as she tried to stand up. Her wrist looked bruised. Her uniform looked old, as if she had been using the same one for years. "Are you okay?" he asked gently when she brought him water. She nodded quickly. "Yes, sir, just slipped." But her voice didn't match the smile she tried to force. There was pain in her eyes, deep, silent pain. And the CEO knew one thing for sure. People don't cry like that over a small accident. Something else was going on. As the CEO watched, the manager stormed back into the hall. "Alisha," he shouted. "Table 7 is waiting. Move faster." She hurried, limping slightly, trying to hide it. But the CEO noticed. Every step she took was careful, painful. The manager's voice grew louder. "And don't embarrass us again. If you drop one more plate, remember, your job is gone." Her eyes widened in fear. She whispered, "I'm sorry, it won't happen again." The manager scoffed and turned away. But then, under his breath, loud enough for the CEO to hear, he muttered, "Girls like you only understand lessons the hard way." That was it. The CEO put his cup down. He had seen enough. But instead of revealing his identity, he continued watching. He wanted to know the whole truth before taking action. What happened next shocked him even more. During the lunch rush, customers started filling the restaurant. Alisha worked silently, avoiding the manager's eyes, finishing orders with impressive speed despite her pain. When she leaned down to pick up a fallen fork, her sleeve slid up slightly, revealing a fresh bruise on her arm. The CEO gently asked, "Did the manager do that?" She froze. Her lips trembled. "No, sir. I just bumped into the storage shelf yesterday." The CEO knew she was lying. She looked down, biting her lip, struggling to hold back tears. "Alisha, you can tell me," he said softly. This time, her voice cracked. "I can't," she whispered. "If he fires me, my mother won't get her medicines. I can't lose this job." She quickly wiped her tears and rushed back to work. The CEO felt anger rise in his chest. How many months had she been suffering? How many times had she cried quietly, just to keep earning for her mother? He made a decision. This would not continue, not for one more hour. At around 3 p.m., the restaurant slowed down. That's when the manager found his moment. He stormed out of the kitchen holding a bill. "Alisha, you wrote the wrong amount again. Are you stupid?" She flinched. "I'm sorry. I must have misread." "Of course you misread," he snapped. "You people can't do anything right." Everyone turned to look. Customers fell silent. Alisha stood frozen, shaking. Then the manager stepped closer, his voice filled with pure cruelty. "If you don't fix your attitude, I'll kick you out myself." That's when she said it again, this time louder, breaking completely. "Please, don't kick me. I'm already hurt." The restaurant fell silent. And that was the moment the undercover CEO stood up. He removed his cap, straightened his shirt, and walked straight toward the manager. The entire staff watched with wide eyes. "Enough," the CEO said firmly. The manager laughed, not recognizing him. "And you are?" The CEO smiled, but not kindly. "I'm the guy who owns this place." The manager's face went pale. The CEO turned to the staff. "I've been observing everything since morning," he said calmly. "And I've seen harassment, insults, and violations of every employee right." He faced the manager directly. "You've threatened, abused, and mistreated a staff member. Effective immediately. You're fired. Leave the premises right now." The manager started stuttering. Sir, it's a misunderstanding." But the CEO didn't even look at him again. 2 security guards escorted the manager out while the staff stared in disbelief. Then the CEO turned to Alisha. "Why didn't you tell anyone?" he asked softly. She looked down. I needed this job. I had no choice." He shook his head. "From today, things will change," he announced. "A new HR oversight system. Strict policies against harassment. Support for staff facing personal difficulties." Then he turned to her. "And as for you, Alisha." She looked up slowly. "You're promoted," he said with a gentle smile. "From today, you'll be the assistant floor supervisor. Better salary. No more suffering." Her eyes filled with tears, not of pain, but relief. I don't know what to say, sir," she whispered. "You don't have to say anything," the CEO replied. "Just promise me one thing. Never let anyone treat you like you're worthless. You're stronger than you think." She nodded, tears streaming down her cheeks. The other staff members clapped. Customers applauded. And for the first time in months, Alisha smiled without forcing it.